Fantastic. Okay, so welcome to the monthly Masterwork Practice Hour, brought to you in collaboration with the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing, where I did all of my studies and all of my art experience and background comes from. They're always offering wonderful programs in person, online, even abroad. And I invite you to check out a couple of their programs that they have coming up on their website in a link that I'll put in the chat in just a moment. Wow, we got a couple more people coming in. Admit, admit. Wonderful. All right. Candy, Grace, great to have you here. So, as I was saying, this series is brought to you in collaboration with the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. I want to bring your attention just to a couple new things that they put on their website that I'm really excited about. One is a online class that I'll be teaching this September called Eyes for Hue, Deep Guided Practice in Color Mixing. So this is an opportunity for those of us who want more guided practice with color and color mixing. The color theory part of it is going to be a little bit of a review. It's going to be way more concise, okay? And the sessions are going to be more focused on practice activities. It's think of it as like a almost like a fitness program in color mixing. All right. So that is coming up this September. All right. It's a 4-week class online that I'll be doing with the Marchute School. And then the other thing I'd like to share with you all, um, if you're looking for ways to take your painting practice abroad, maybe have some new experiences with what you do, painting and painting outside. Oh, no, I want you to check out what happened to it. I had a nice slide for it and then it went away. Oh, there we go. Out of order. Venice. Venice. Have any of you ever painted in Venice before? I know a couple of you have. I know one of you just came back from Venice. Stephanie, I'm looking at you. Stephanie, right on. Stephanie here just came back within the last couple of weeks from a painting trip with the Marchute School in Venice, Italy. And in fact, we're already planning for next spring's Venice trip. Um, Something we're doing a little bit differently is giving people the option to work in watercolor, where I will be the watercolor instructor with you. So if you want an opportunity to work in person together, maybe have some brand new experiences painting, we can paint in Venice together next spring. So take a look at that as well. On my website, siteandin.site, on the front page, if you scroll down, you'll see this spot for mini critiques. All right, free mini critiques. If you've been working on something and you want a second pair of eyes on it, feel free to get in touch with me using this form, and we'll set up a time to look at your work. I'll provide some suggestions, prepare some feedback, maybe even some digital edits. And yeah, just have a little chat about what you're working on. All right. Now's a good time for that. I just finished my season with the Smithsonian, and I have a solid 4 or 5 weeks before anything big happens. So now would be a good time to catch up and look at some work together. All right. Without further delay, everyone, let's go to the image we'll be working on. All right. Right on. It is a doozy. I won't lie. It is quite the still life that we have here. And I want to remind you all in these practice sessions, okay, I select an image, but it's really up to you what you want to work on. So, for example, in a still life like this, um, don't if you see a corner of it that really speaks to you, maybe it's just this bottom left quadrant, all right, where there's a light tablecloth and then there's a few objects that are challenging enough. But there's this nice movement of the knife to this circular shape, to this circular vessel, back down here and in the shadow. You could just focus on that little quadrant if that's what you're interested in. Don't feel like you have to do the whole thing. Who knows? There's a lot in here. I mean, there's a plate with butter on it. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I've seen a still life with that. But feel free to just zero in on certain things. You don't have to do the whole image. I want you to get what you want out of this. Some quick guidelines and reminders. This is an opportunity for artists to get some practice. All right. It's not a class. I don't have a planned lesson. When working from a masterwork like this, the goal is not to make a forgery, but to have your own experience with the work and practice putting it together according to whatever key relationships and essential elements you see. Make your own parallel image with your own touch. All right. It can still be an opportunity to learn. I will be sharing insights about my process as the session unfolds. If watching my work will benefit you this session, I recommend switching to side-by-side speaker view on your Zoom meeting. Feel free to ask questions. All right. However, if you don't have something to say or anything you'd like to ask, I request that you remain muted to eliminate any distracting background noise. And likewise, if you're in the zone and just want to work, feel free to mute me as well. Special thank you to our returning participants. By the way, special thank you to every single one of you right now. I don't know that I've seen a practice hour with this many people in it in a long time, but check you all out showing up for your practice. I love to see it. Um, Special thank you to our returning participants who regularly contribute. We are happy to offer this monthly online practice hour at no cost to our community. If you are enjoying this program, please consider making a donation to support the mission of the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. And donations can be made at the link that I will provide. So in the chat right now, let me a couple changes right quick. All right, in the chat right now um, are a few links. All right. So three links in the chat. All right. The first one is for programs where you can learn more about the online color mixing class that I'll be teaching in September and the Venice trip, as well as all the other things that the Marchutz School is doing this year. Um, my website where you can sign up for mini critiques, schedule some time for a second pair of eyes on your work, some individualized guidance, and finally a link where you can make donations to the Marchutz School. Right. So you all are underway, it looks like. It's wonderful. Super cool. All right. And what I will need to do actually is I am going to bring my desk in here, and that's going to involve me. Okay, so let me get my desk happening up here. And I actually have a new camera setup that I'm excited to use with you all. Um, so I'm just going to take a second to get that up, but you all just get cracking. Okay, everyone. So for just a split second, I'm going to remove the reference image so I can have my desk join everyone. Please forgive me. Boom, boom, boom. All right, and we are back. So this I will move to the left. Very good. All right. This will be on the right. There we go. Cool. All right, and I'll make this a little bit bigger because I know that's really what we're here for. All right. Okay, so I'm trying a couple new things here. Um, and we're gonna see how it goes. Have some odds and ends as far as materials go. I'll talk through them a little bit. If you are curious. So let's see. Still just trying to get there we go. Perfect. Okay. I am trying to make watercolor and an ink pen work together. I'm curious about how I can marry these two different media into one process. I'll show you some of my attempts, actually. So last Friday, I went to just a street nearby and I tried doing a drawing of a dome of a church. Kind of came out like this, but you can see where the different media are applied. And I'm trying to use the watercolor to do like a general sketch of the light, all right, and then bring in the ink pen to articulate things. I think here it is too disjointed, the two. Here's another attempt I did from my kitchen on Friday afternoon as well. This is a lemon and a clove of garlic. Again, starting with just light watercolor to block in areas and to preserve some light, and then coming in with marks in ink pen to articulate the object. So that's what I'm going to try to do in this session with you all. And we'll see how it goes. I have some tools. Let's see. So you'll notice the watercolor, it's all one color. So it's really just Payne's gray. All right. That's all I'm using. Um, with this is all I'm using for color. I do have white gouache. Okay, so this is not watercolor, this is gouache. And I just have a teeny tiny bit here on this little leftover pencil case that I've got. All right, so I squirted a little bit out and I'm just mixing the two of them to create different values. All right. So whether I'm diluting, whether I am um, mixing white in, I'm really just playing with values here. Um, Also, I'm using a tool I don't normally use. I'm using one of these guys. A water brush, I believe this is what they're called. I have a few of them lying around. Sometimes I get into them, sometimes I just neglect them, but I would like to, I don't know, it seems like the right thing for this. I'm not changing color too much. And it's nice not having containers of water. So I got a flat square water brush here. Again, if you haven't used these before, there's water all in this handle. There's a reservoir of water here in this handle, and it kind of slowly flows out the end as I hold it upright. All right, so it keeps things moist, and I can just dry it off on a paper towel if I want a drier mark.
Can I
For
ask a
pen,
question?
yeah, of course. Wendy, what's up?
Yeah, everybody, including you, talks about Payne's Gray, and I don't own Payne's Gray, and I wanted to know why that's preferable to use versus just mixing white and black or whatever.
Um, Wendy, I don't know that I have a good answer for you. You could mix white and black. Often I don't like pre-prepared black tones. Payne's Gray, it's nice and cool. I haven't really experimented with how dark it can get, but um, yeah, I like the tone. But I can't really say there's like a rule or a reason. You could mix black and white. I just generally don't like the blacks that are out there in tubes. I like making my own black. Of
That's good, thank you.
course, yeah. Um, but Wendy, I'll play with it and tell me what you think. Um, for pens, I have a couple. This is like a very fine tip Sharpie pen. Okay, I don't know what millimeter diameter, whatever, but it makes those kinds of marks. This is a little bit more of a felt tip pen. Okay, I've been having better luck with this, frankly, but this does make much darker marks than um, the fine tip Sharpie pens. Also, if you're into drawing with pens, okay, ink pens, I've had this for a while and the ink is running out, and that doesn't mean throw it away. When the ink is running out, it's almost as if you have one that can make a lighter value. Okay. So I mark it off. I have this bit of tape here just to mark it off. It's like, okay, that's the one that doesn't have as much ink and will make a much fainter mark than the regular one. And then the last thing, someone in one of my classes, Lorraine, it might have been you. Were you the one telling me about like the powdered graphite in class?
Yes, that was me. Yeah, yeah. I have
Yeah,
that.
on Thursday.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So I have here, you have some? You're playing with it too?
I bought it.
Well, you bought it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But my other art teacher, he saves all his graphite when he sharpens, and
Okay,
so
I'm doing exactly what you spoke about. I was
yeah,
so astounded when you mentioned that in class. So
yeah.
here I have some shavings from from a graphite stick, and I think I'm gonna try using them as a medium to make really dark marks with, because there are some really dark marks to be made here. And we'll see, I don't know, we'll see if I can put all these things together. God, I'm nervous. All right, let's do this. Let's see if I can play in there. Hmm. All right, let's see if I can push that over. Maybe I can, there you go, sneak in a little bit of the palette here. I don't want to take too much of the, maybe I'll just have to leave it. Okay. All right, so I'm starting out pretty timidly, frankly. I am going to try and get the whole thing. I'm seeing, a lot of the light in the image being collected sort of in the bottom third of this. So I'm blocking in some major shadows that I see just to start giving me some form, some sort of foundation down there um, to build an image on. But, look how dark the top two thirds of this image really are. Let's see.
So I have another question, sorry.
Oh, Wendy, bring it. What's up?
Using that water brush, how do you regulate how much paint goes down?
Yeah, all right, cool. So I'll demonstrate a little bit. So, and I'll take some of these items off my palette so I can show you more easily. All right, so this is my palette. All right, I have white, I have dark. Um, I want really light values right now. So I'm kind of just mixing up a tone that I like. So you can kind of see the tone that I have there. And then there's water basically always dripping through the bristles of my brush. It's not like a faucet, it's not like a flood. It is a very steady, controlled, gradual, continuous moistening of the end of my brush here. All right. And that allows me to just keep things moving. If I want to get darker, what I would do is I would just wipe off my brush completely. Okay. So that I have as close to a dry of a brush as possible, and then pick up the paint that I want and put it down, and it'll be less diluted that way. Otherwise, the amount of paint that I pick up is the same as with a watercolor brush.
Okay, thanks.
Of course. It takes getting used to. It definitely takes getting used to. But I've had these for a while. I've wanted to get used to them, so sometimes you got to play with the other toys. So again, I'm just trying to really timid now. Really timid. And I may, let's see, trying to work gradually from light to dark. Um, really, we'll see how all of this goes, but trying to pay attention to some general light dark relationships. The things get really dark once I start bringing in the graphite, which I'm very excited to use. And I'm being really particular about that light at the bottom of the glass. I really want to preserve this light on my page. So I'm being really deliberate about painting around that shape. Okay. Maybe just a couple more. Let's get, this is good. Light. That's not bad. I think, let's see, from here, I want to block in some of what's in that background. I really want to, get that dark back there, but I'm not quite ready to switch to my makeshift liquid graphite. I do want to just paint in some big, big, big shapes back there. Let's see how dark we can get, reasonably speaking. So, let's see what we got here. Okay, a little more. Still very dark, but let's keep at it. Not worrying too much about getting it perfect. I think I just want to get this first lap, this first layer done in this Payne's, different tones of Payne's gray here. And then I can start, finessing things with the other fun toys that I have. So what's also going to be interesting is that, look, when I bring in this graphite, it may be a completely different temperature. And how might that affect the image? So, all right. So starting to emerge. Starting to emerge. But I'm diluting a little bit more now. Um, and I want to go back into the tablecloth and just get a little bit more nuance in certain areas here. Some really interesting things going on. Um, these shadows, now that I know where the glass is. Oh, let me get my cursor out of the way there. Sorry about that, everyone. Cool. Hmm. And I'm going to dilute just one more. I want to go even lighter. And let's see. Because not all of these va light tones are created equal. All right. All right, now let's see how dry we are. Not bad. So now let's see what happens. I'm going to tap out a little bit of this graphite here. I'll show you what I'm doing. So I've been working in this little area the last bit, but let me see if I can just knock out a little bit of that graphite there. What is this? Okay. Let's see how dark. Let's see how dark this gets. So to be safe, whoop, hmm, okay. It's not exactly what I was expecting it to do. It's still more powdery than I anticipated, but curious. Still a little more powdery than I anticipated, but let's try. That's what we're here for, to experiment, try new things, see what happens. All right. So I'm afraid it's going to be really dark, so I'm going to go for something really, let's go for a couple shapes that are really dark. Two, ta, it's not terrible. Let's see, make you a little more liquid. Interesting. Okay. Hey Lorraine. Um, so I have it up here. I just need my Zoom thing to the Zoom menu with all the buttons always gets in the way. I can't get it to go away, but still life with carafe, still life with bottle, carafe, bread, and something something, and I think it says Monet. I'm pretty sure this is an early Monet that we're working from. All right, let me keep going with this. So, okay, so I'm actually getting I feel like I'm getting a little bit more the hang of how this wants to work. Um, Oops.
Did you do that with charcoal shavings too? Or powder?
Um, I imagine you could. I mean, like, if you look at my fingertips, like, this is just from graphite. If I was with charcoal powder out here, I could probably just finger draw a whole thing. This is very new to me, frankly. Um, but I totally, yeah, I imagine you absolutely could just go into it with charcoal shavings as well. I don't work very much in charcoal, I'll admit. But I don't see. Like mechanically speaking, I don't really see why not. But I am having fun with this, I gotta say. Lorraine, this is cool trick here that your other art teacher does.
Well, I've never used it with water. I've only just used it for drawing.
How do you use it when you do it with drawing, Lorraine?
Basically, shade the whole paper with the dust and then erase.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah, and
cool.
then
All right.
erase, and then you can also fill in with darker colors where you want. So yeah, so it's an
Okay.
erasing thing. So yeah.
Okay. Man, maybe I must have misunderstood. Maybe I misunderstood
Yeah,
in a way
but this
where you
is,
were saying.
yeah, yeah, no, you kind of take a brush and or just, you brush the powder all over the paper to basically tone it, and then
Yeah.
and then you start erasing, and then you can add lights and darks, in there. So
Okay. Cool.
I'm sorry if I misled you.
No, 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 don't be sorry, because I am definitely
It
like
is
I
a
think
wonderful
the
experiment.
yeah, yeah, I think the misleading
I-
was meant to happen because this is definitely what I imagined and this is what I was excited to try doing. So this is great. This is
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. But is all graphite water based?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because I know they have
Yeah.
these graphite pencils that have if it has the little paintbrush on it, I always figured it's water based. Otherwise, they're not. So maybe you're struggling with that. I don't know. But you're not struggling. It looks beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I don't feel like I'm struggling. I feel like I'm just playing. This is water soluble graphite. This is like a very old, thick water soluble graphite stick. I have a bunch of these back in DC that I really need to bring back to Ireland with me. But I could definitely like I'm pretty sure. Here, let me clean off my brush. Just get some of the graphite out. But if I really wanted to, I'm pretty sure I could just take my brush and lift off some graphite off the side. And let's see, where's somewhere really dark? What's a really dark spot? Like you can get darker. Yeah, I think that's, is that working? Let's see. There you go. Yeah. Anyways, I love trying new stuff. And sometimes, you know, I love watercolor, I love oil, but sometimes you just gotta try new things. Well, I gotta say, with the powdered graphite, this is actually already more successful, I think, than any of my attempts to put ink pen and watercolor together. Um, this is really, this feels really nice and cohesive. I don't I don't know. Yeah, I'm really pleased with this actually. Um, it allows me to keep my brushwork. I can remain in like a very general sort of vision. Um, the ink pens throw me off because when I put an ink pen in my hand, I want to do like really precise cross hatching. And trying to get the blocking in of tones to be cohesive with the precise cross hatching I'm having a hard time with. Um, but this is nice. This works. And maybe one last little bit here. So I'm just sort of trying to get some of this graphite off my brush at this point. Now I want all this to be pretty dark. So it's okay to push all these values like so.
Hi, Nick. This is Pam. You were talking about putting pen and ink on with watercolor. I've
Yeah,
only
Pam.
done it. I've only done it a couple of times, but I used it very similarly in the way you are using the graphite for this, where you just use it in the darkest spots to highlight and more line than hatching, like your darkest shadows
Mhm.
and very sparingly.
Yeah, I'm feeling that very sparingly. Like I think I'm gonna skip this because I think I'm kind of past those values that I can do with a very fine tip. Um, pen like this, but I'll go for my felt
Mhm.
tip in just a moment, and be really selective. And actually, I might even skip that altogether and just I have a really dark graphite stick, like a 9B right here. I might just do some of the same mark making, but very sparingly, very selective in certain areas. That'll probably keep the cohesion here. I'm a little hesitant now. I love what's going on. I'm a little hesitant now to bring in ink right now. Maybe I'll have to try that on a different drawing some other time.
It sort of has the a sense of a print, you know.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But everything I've done now has been with this flat square brush. Okay, it's just a matter of what I'm putting in it, whether it's watercolor and gouache mixed together to achieve different tones, or if it's um, my graphite shavings. But I don't, yeah, I'm wondering now, like, I'm almost wondering if when this dries, if I blow on it, if all the graphite dust will blow everywhere, how fixative would take to something like this. I don't know, so many, so many questions. But
Hey
pretty
Nick,
cool.
it's Laura.
Hey, Laura.
Yes, I took a watercolor class recently online. And he said he started his watercolor career simply doing working with one color for a long time. He said he wanted to get used to the shading, the density of the paint he needed to use, the water content, and looking at your print or your painting right now reminds me of his comment.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan of sort of limiting myself in really deliberate, intentional ways to um, just to learn more about, the medium and the process. It's definitely what's happening here. All right, so I've decided I'm gonna come in and just draw my darkest darks in. I'm not gonna play too much more. I sort of need to just bring this home. One experiment is enough. So right now I'm just looking for the darkest darks and picking them out with my my 9B graphite stick right here. Yeah, after this session, I may have to take this outside and just give it a quick, blow on the drawing to brush off some of the graphite. Now that the water's drying up or absorbing into the paper, there's all this graphite on my drawing now. All right, everyone, let's go for about 10 more minutes, okay? 10 more minutes with this image. And then I'll grab a group green screenshot of our work and we'll call it a session. So I'm going a little extra in here because I really want to get that. I don't know, something about this glass pops to me the most, especially next to this bottle here. So I'm trying to reinforce the darks that I have going on there. How are we doing with the glass? I know they're not real bottles and glasses and carafes in front of us, but how are we handling the glass? Is that a challenge?
Always.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, yes, okay. The trick with glass is that you have to, it's kind of the ultimate test in just drawing the tones that you see, laying down the tones that you see, and trusting that the object will appear. And I know it takes, you sort of have to get out of your head and really just trust the process. And that's a lot of the work, but it's about sitting with your vision, being super attentive to all the nuance in the light and dark there, and then um, yeah, just laying it down where you see it and trusting that the glass will draw itself. Hmm. Whatever that is on the right, if that's a loaf of bread or a cake or something, that is probably, I don't know, I'm gonna get that out. I kind of don't want to fuss with it anymore. Let's see. Everyone, how about 3 more minutes left with the image? Okay, everyone, how about 1 more minute with the image? So start wrapping up the part of this that you are working on.
Hey Nick, I'm gonna have to leave. I have something else I have to get to, but so glad I got back to this. It
Yeah,
was great. And
wonderful
Venice
stuff.
was fantastic. It was,
And this was, you had a good time in Venice, yeah?
yeah, it was like I couldn't imagine how good it would be. It
Stephanie, I'm so
was
happy to hear.
fantastic. So thank you, Nick, because you were the reason I went.
Hey, you got yourself all the way there. I was
No,
so
but
impressed. Yeah, good for you. And I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And I'm glad you got to meet some of those people.
yeah,
They
they
are,
were fantastic.
yeah, they're definitely, where my formative years painting and drawing were spent with them.
Yeah,
In places like Venice. So yeah, I'm
yeah,
glad you got to
it was
experience.
wonderful. So I'll be back. I might not be back every time, but I'll be back to to to, to this drawing.
Of
It's
course.
great. Thanks.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I we do this every month. It's for you
Yeah.
all, keep you all practicing. For us to stay connected to, it's nice to bring all my students together. But
Uh,
yeah, course, I don't expect people to come every time.
You
It's
can say
really
hi.
time
Oh,
for you.
Okay, well, thank you.
My pleasure, Stephanie. Yeah, if you have to jump, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
I want to take real quick, everyone. I'm going to take the image away and let's start wrapping this session up.
I need to show it.
Let's see. So I will. How did I do this? I'll get this guy out of here. There we go. So real quick, just next week, not next week, no, next session, excuse me, is very soon. All right, so 2 Sundays from now, June 8th, we'll be back at it, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Um, in this series, I love spending time with you all. I know you all enjoy doing the practice with me. Next session, I'm actually going to bring a friend of mine, all right? Another friend of mine from the Marchutz School, Pauline Betrancourt. She's another artist, and I'll introduce you all to her. But I thought it would be cool to start bringing some other artists into this so you can get some different perspectives, see some different processes, you know? So it's not just always mine. I do things a certain way. Pauline does things a certain way. And it would be nice to expose you all to that. All right. So something to look forward to next session, Sunday, June 8th, is Pauline coming to join us. My practice memo for this coming session, the June 8th, hasn't gone out yet. It'll go out this week. So be sure to sign up for practice memos on my website for that particular message. All right. So with that, let me stop sharing my screen. And I'd love it if you all could show me your drawings and I'll take a quick screenshot of what we've got going on. And then our dear Rose will send it out to everyone. All right. Nice work. Nice. All right. Good job, everyone. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Yeah, Margaret, thank you. Beautiful. All right, one more, just for good luck, just for good luck. Thank you so much. Killer. All right, Roberta, is that an oil? Is that a watercolor? What do you have going on over there? That is dark. That is beautiful. Nice work. All right. Yeah, keep that up, Roberta. I'm just going to show them real quick. I'll spotlight it. Do you mind showing that? Nice work. I love the light on the table surface. Gorgeous. All right. All right, everyone. It has been a joy. It has been a pleasure. I'm so happy to see you all, and I can't wait to do this again with you all in 2 weeks. All right.
Nick, also,
Yeah.
I put a chat, I use this graphite palette of watercolors,
Okay.
and I put a link to it there in case anybody I really like these. So if you want to just do, sort of a grisaille or something, this is a nice palette.
Right on. Very
I'm
good.
gonna do
All
it.
right. Yeah.
So
Lorraine.
the link is there. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it's sold out, but you can buy them individually. So
Oh, okay. Um,
Nick, I
everyone, yeah.
wanted to, my friend Mindy
I
signed up.
took your class. I signed up for this too, but I'm over at Cecilia, so Mindy West. Anyway, I took your class, the light.
Yeah, that's so cool to see you all together. I'm
It's
glad we're
together.
Well, we
This
live
this
right
is
near
great.
each other. We know each other. So yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Cool. All right, everyone. Real quick before I end the session, check out the links in the chat, okay? Lorraine has put the palette, the graphite palette. I have 3 links for my programs with the Marchutz School, my upcoming class on color mixing, the Venice trip, my website for the mini critique. Looks like a couple of us have signed up for that already, and donations supporting the mission of the Leo Marchutz School. It's been a pleasure, everyone. You all have accomplished something today. Feel free to, just eat, make tea, read books, lazy about for the rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll be in touch. I'll see you all soon, okay?
thanks, Nick. Bye-bye.
Everyone, bye.
Nick, bye.